So the two champs are going to go after me, huh?
Yeah, we can go ahead and get started with Coach. What have the last 36 or so hours been like for you?
Well, I wish I was in my bed a lot more often than the last 36 hours that I have been, but it's been a rush. It's been like pandemonium. This thing, right? Can you think back? Or you guys maybe all too young, but think back of when there was dial phones, right? Now people can just let you know what they're thinking right away, and but it's been amazing, been overwhelming as far as the people reaching out, and I'm grateful for the team I got and the guys on my team. And I had two young men today text me that became All-Americans that weren't, that obviously wasn't Ridge and Antrell, but we're All-Americans. And they're so prideful of our team and their experience here at Nebraska, and I mean that's what it's all about. It's seeing how these guys, their belief system grow and develop, and I'm just a part of it and just doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But what a weekend! What a weekend for Nebraska wrestling. We saw it coming, but you got to go and do it. So it happened, and yeah. Fun stuff.
You say you saw it coming. When did you start to see that the pieces were coming together for something like this?
I saw it coming at the Iowa duel in particular. I told our team, one, we're going to do a couple things. One, this team won't beat us at Big Tens and Nationals, and we're gonna outscore them at both those tournaments. And I just saw the intensity, the passion they had. And, people are going to have that for a moment, but for have it all year, I saw, we were really dominant in a lot of our dual meets. We had an amazing Big Ten, and Jacob Van D and both Christopher Minto both got hurt and couldn't compete on Sunday. So I saw, how many points we scored and, our performances there, and I just couldn't mess it up that last 2 weeks. So, no, I thought we did enough training. It's, people talk about overtraining. You can overtrain your team, which I've seen probably done before with my teams, but I thought we did the right amount of training going into this tournament, and yeah, it's fun.
For a guy like Antrell, just redshirting and an 8th place finish last year, he's just been building on that momentum. But just how proud of you for him as not only a wrestler, but as just a person to have that accomplishment this weekend?
Absolutely, you're spot on. For Antrell and for sports in general, especially in college, this thing's more than what they do as a sportsman. It's about them as a person. And that's what you get when you come to Nebraska wrestling. You're part of our program. It's about we develop the person and the wrestler, because that's how God made us all. We're spiritual beings, and you have to develop the spirit. You have to develop, obviously, the character and teach people, how to act, how to be elite. Being elite, is something that we talk about so much and we preach. Being a pro, a lot of these guys want to be the next Jordan Burroughs and a world Olympic champion. Well, to do that, it's you have to think different, you have to act different, you have to be different, you have to work different, and so we're always talking about being elite, and so it's a higher standard, and I think what this team accomplished is going into the tournament in March, Big Tens and Nationals, they had a high standard for themselves. We had 8 out of 9 All-Americans, and Lenny Pinto by, a hair didn't make it. That just shows, in big moments they're not going to give up. there was 4 guys and 330 wrestlers in the NCAA tournament. Four guys got beat first round and came back an All-American, and we had 2. Jacob Van Dee and Cam McDaniel. It's hard to do it. and we have some tough-minded guys that have a high standard.
Coach, can you speak on Ridge a little bit? I mean, just what a career he's had, and then to just end it, this way as a champion.
I mean, the media probably tired of me saying this, but I knew the night I got a call, I can't remember when it was on a Sunday night, and Ridge Lovett had just got back from a visit to Oklahoma State, and he was highly recruited, and he gave me a call, and he was kind of joking with me, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I've got so many silver medals in my life. Finishing second in recruiting doesn't do you a lot of good, I'm thinking, oh my God, he's getting ready to tell me he's going to Oklahoma State. And he says, I told John Smith, hey, thanks for everything, but I'm going to be a Cornhusker. And I knew getting him and getting Brock Hardy, who obviously everyone knows he went on a mission for 2 years, which is, it's hard. You recruit somebody, you never know what they're going to come back like. But Brock Hardy he's just a high character guy, as you guys know. And, I knew when we got those guys, but especially Ridge. Ridge could be, just a difference maker in regards to changing the complexion of our team, because he's just his competitiveness and his desire just emulates from him. He's just it's great. It's great to have him as a leader and hopefully we're going to keep him around as an RTC athlete. So.
Coach, you went 39-14 against the best in the country. And the word that was used the most was team. That every one of those 39 victories was a team victory. It was celebrated accordingly. The lessons were shared from the victory. The lessons and mistakes were shared from the losses. What has happened? What did you do? Who's the leader to this thing being a team thing in full?
Well, I think it's just, if you look at the last, I think someone showed me a stat, last 12 years of Nebraska wrestling, I think we've been in the top 10, 11 of the 12 years. So one, it wasn't like we were Joe Bag of Donuts and then we showed up and we're sweet one weekend. I think this is just, obviously I'm a big fan of Tom Osborne, and a lot of people don't remember. I'm sure he remembers very well. He lost to Barry Switzer 6 years in a row, right? I remember one of my best friends died. I was coaching at North Carolina, and I know I'm going on here. I think it was like 1990, and Tom Osborne won 10-2, and I remember flying back into Omaha, and they wanted to fire Tom Osborne. Calling first, can't win the big one. Can't win the big one. 10-2, not good enough, right? Can't beat the big dog. And probably wrestling fans have probably felt like it. And I've got some emails. I get crazy emails, and can't ever get over the hump. Well, a lot of places would like top 10, 11 out of 12 years. A lot of people would like 10-2. And then Tom Osborne, hey, his last 4 years, 60-3. I know the numbers. What changed? Just a couple other, pieces of the puzzle. That's how this thing works. People, it's hard to get in there. It's hard to make the football playoffs. You don't think everyone else is trying? Just because we have the N on our chest doesn't mean anything, It's hard, and then Tom Osborne is GOAT. All of a sudden he got a few years older, he got wiser. No, he called the same plays, just had some different players and, just different dynamics do it. That's the magic of sports, and that's the ups and downs, the heartbreaks and the big moments we all experience in sports is really cool. And, we love this, but we'd love to change this color. What does it take? Just, a few guys that are the right fit. And that's what works in our program. The people, you look at our team dynamic, Jacob Van D, he was, 17th, 15th, something like that. He wrestled above it, seventh in the country. Christopher Minto, people were like, what's happening at the Big Ten? Well, here you are. You're 19 years old. Here's what happens in my world. I'm wondering the same thing. What's going on with Christopher out in the mat, right? Well, he sprained his ankle. He didn't tell anyone, right? No one knew. He's keeping his mouth shut. Well, he's one of 9 kids. His single mother, and high school coach came to watch him in Chicago from Florida. He didn't want to let him down. He wanted to wrestle every match, even though he was banged up, and which is not great for you're getting wrestled in the big dance 10 days from now. So we shut him down and got him better, and I got a great trainer in Tyler Wida, and Dr. Meredith came along. He gave some, little juice in that ankle and made that pain go away, and a new creature come this weekend, and 4th in the nation as a redshirt freshman, lightly recruited. And so, because he bought into our place and understands the principles we teach, so really cool, and I'm going on there. So, sorry.
Coach, I'll go back to mid-January. I think in that seat after Penn State, it wasn't the result you wanted, but a lot of things changed after that. Put it lightly, Ridge said sometimes you got to get kicked in the teeth to respond. I think you even said you believed Antrell would be a national champion that night. What did you see out of the team after that? How they responded after that match with a record crowd, and then doing what you guys did the rest of the way?
Yeah, I think the same, kind of like Iowa and Penn State. Our guys weren't surprised. We were outclassed in a couple weight classes where we didn't have an answer, but most up and down the lineup it was a battle. It was a fight. 125 obviously. 141 was a heartbreaker. We had the match won. You want to win every match, right? But realistically, you're not gonna win every match. It's hard, and but I thought we learned, just a great deal, and we just kept getting better. We didn't focus on so much of the, getting beat. We focused on what we had to do to get better, and I thought our buy-in of our team was different this year that way.
Coach, in the post-match interview, Antrell talked about your relationship with him and how you would do anything for him. Can you just delve into about your relationship with Antrell?
Yeah, man. I do this with all our guys, and it's, if they come to Nebraska, I tell their parents, hey, this is not recruiting speak. Hey, I'm going to treat your son like I would want my son to be taught and coached. And I got, everyone thinks I'm older than dirt, but just because my white hair. But if they come and see my workouts, or I got a sophomore and a junior in high school, so I'm still, I must have struck it great with my wife, right? But I just tell him I'm going to take care of him just like my son. Obviously, a lot of people know Antrell's story. He lost his father, like 14 years ago, and lost one of his oldest brothers 2-3 years ago. The same gang members in Omaha, and what an amazing story that guy is, right? Well, how he overcame, and just help them every way that they can. And sometimes, off the mat stuff is most important. Just taking them to church, and it's just sometimes it's easy to walk in the wrestling room and be around the stud, be around the Jordan Burroughs, but it's everyone. And so my college coach, Mike Denny, told me one thing: hey, every day everyone needs some touches, right? And it's easy to touch on and love on the best guys in your room. It's everyone. You need to touch on everyone. And your best guy's getting a lot of touches, so a lot of times it's about seeing other people and when what they need. And I think that's why we have great togetherness and team camaraderie. And Antrell's, he's just a sophomore, right? To see him grow and take on, being an All-American really last year. He was a 157 pounder. He didn't cut weight for 165. He just couldn't beat Peyton Robb out. 4-time All-American, pretty good guy. And you should have saw Peyton Robb and Liam Cronin up there in the stands this weekend cheering these guys on. Peyton Robb is so proud of Antrell, and that's what it's all about. That's really cool moments. But I just run through the wall for Antrell. He's means so much.
Coach, you had several of your young people say that one of the real benefits to this program, the identifiers of the culture, is that they've never shown up to a practice where they didn't know that you wanted to be there. What's that about? Talk to me.
Well, I love it when people negative recruit us, say, hey, man, he's retiring. I'm like, really? Did I get that memo? But I love it because it just kind of goes on with my personality. People say you can't do something. Okay, I'm going to, I don't know, a few years ago, I had an athletic director tell me, man, you'll never beat Ohio State. You don't have enough money. We haven't lost to them, but nothing against Ohio State. It's just like what we've had to overcome, people being negative. I'm blessed to have Troy Dannon as our athletic director, guy that's going to help us, and help our team, help our program, and it's really cool. But I just think there's a great spirit within our team, and I think that's my responsibility as a leader. Be able to read the room, push the right buttons, and bring out the best in these guys. And usually it means you challenge. Hey, I've challenged Rich Lovett a million times because I know what he can do. I know he can give more effort. I know he can be more locked in, and so it's important for me to. I love on them, but I push them to their max, man. I'm not easy guy by any sense. They know that, but they know I'm doing it for the right reasons, and it's great asset for us.
Coach, can you speak on that dynamic a little bit, like towing the line between pushing them, but also being that kind of like father figure kind of?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the I've talked with a number of football coaches about this too. My good friend Mike Eckler, who's now back, and that's what he says about Matt Rule going on with football. He pushes the right buttons. He pushes them and loves on them the right time. And I think in any sport, it's our own inhibition to say, hey, I let up on the guy that's doing great, right? And most of the time, the best guy wants to be pushed to the limit. They want to know their limit, and you gotta test it. Obviously, not every day do you have to go the hardest, but it's usually the mental engagement. They know that they're locked in, even though, hey, they're in the room for an hour or they're in the room for 2.5 hours. They got to be locked into what they're doing and focused on what they're doing. And that's just trying to bring out the best in them and know that you have their back and challenging them. I think that the best want to be pushed to their limit. And that's what I found out in coaching is, I used to push Jordan Burroughs to like to the max because I knew that's what he needed mentally to be his best, and that's what I do to some of these guys, and they rise to the occasion because they have high standards they want to reach.
Coach,
One last question for Coach.
Coach, you just kind of describe what this season means. I mean, you had 8 All-Americans, Tournament Coach of the Year, second place in the national tournament. Just where does this season kind of rank through the history for you?
Well, man, I mean, usually you score 115, 117 points, something like that. We scored, you win a national title. I mean, a normal year. I mean, it's just takes a lot. I mean, this shows where Penn State, we need a little help. We need Oklahoma State to be better. We need Iowa to be better. We need, because, a lot of times I've seen in the past 80-some points will win a national title. It'll be that tight. So, it's very special season. Obviously, the Big Tens and Nationals, we wanted to be our best in March, and I think we were. And, we needed guys like Christopher Mento, who was, you have to think back a few months ago, he just beat Bubba Wilson out to get the spot, because no one knew Christopher Mento at the beginning of the year. And he's a freshman. He had to beat out a sixth-year guy who was not an easy accomplishment right there to make the team, and then to be fourth in the nation at that weight, which is always a tough weight. It's hard to do, but Cam McDaniel, getting on the podium as a true freshman at a really super tough weight class. The champ, Buchanan, I think he's 24 years old. Cam McDaniel's 18. We all know, hey, the guy that's playing in the NFL looks a lot different than the freshman in college, physically. So I think for Cam to do what he did was big for our team. And I think every guy that came went to the Nationals, scored, Lenny Pinto, I think, scored 6-7 points for us. If it wasn't for Lenny, we wouldn't have done what we did. And just sad for him. And, like Brock Hardy, he about an hour and a half before his final match, he had stomach issues and just, no excuses. Brock won't give that an excuse, but that's what really happened. I was there. I saw it. And so it's just too bad timing for that national championship match. But season's huge and something we can really build off, obviously. And yeah, it's going to be fun.
Thanks, Coach. We'll have Ridge up next.
All right. What did the last, couple days been like for you in the wake of everything?
Like post tournament?
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. Getting to go into training table today. I took my trophy in there to show it to my academic advisor Alvin, and just getting to go in there and see those guys that I've been working with for years now. On the academic side, not in the room every day, just getting to see how happy they were for me. So today that was pretty cool. Getting to fly back on the PJ was dope. Yeah, shout out Troy, getting us on the private flight back, getting to hang out, get lots of pictures, and getting to hang out with my family out there was pretty cool too. Just seeing how happy all the people were for me, knowing that how hard I've worked and how long I've been trying to accomplish this, finally getting it done. It was an awesome experience.
When did it sink in for you that you had won a national championship?
Probably right when the whistle blew, when my neck was all bent up and I was fighting off that last takedown. I heard Coach Snyder yelling, 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds. And then as soon as I heard the whistle, I was like, we did it. It's done. We finally got it done. And it set in right away. And just getting to walk off the mat and see all my teammates standing there, and my mom, my dad, and my sister, just all them being so excited for me. It was an awesome experience.
Yeah, and you get to turn back to the mat and watch Trelly.
Mm-hmm.
Just what was that like for you watching him, knowing that he could do the same thing?
Yeah, so I missed the first period because me and DP were in the back room doing interviews, and they had a TV in there, so I was kind of trying to like peek glimpses of it. But getting to see him get that done right after me, it was so awesome. They had us all sitting in our seats ready to go up on the podium, and I took off running out of my seat, and they were trying to grab me. I was like, man, get off of me! My boy just won a national title. We got to run up there, give him a hug, tell him congrats, and get him, got to watch him walk over to his mom and his family and his niece and nephews, and just knowing how hard he works every day. I'm in the room with him. We wrestle all the time, and just getting to see those guys seeing all the work that they put in finally pay off for them. It was cool.
Rich, from your own personal experience, just what did you kind of take, finishing as a runner-up, just knowing that you had it in you in the process, and then just to finally come to fruition, just what does that mean in your training, I guess, preparing for this moment?
Yeah, when I took second, when I lost in the semis, like I'm not going to say it was eye-opening, but it kind of highlighted that there's still more things to get better on. There's still work to be done, and really just kind of allowed me to focus in on those areas where I wasn't excelling as much as others, and really commit to myself and to my team to get better in those positions, get better at those things, and really just a lot of it I also think would probably be mental, being willing to go out there and stay the course for 7 minutes, stick to the game plan, and find a way to get your hand raised.
Coach Manning was in here talking about your recruitment and that phone call.
Mm-hmm.
And coming down to Nebraska and Oklahoma State. And I've heard you talk about why Nebraska. Well, now you get to be the national champion that recommends to everybody else why Nebraska.
Why Nebraska? First of all, we have some of the best coaches in the world. The team, the bond that we have, we're truly like a family out here. Like, so the guys on the team that were sitting down there on the floor with me, like some of them had their dreams shattered this weekend. Like all my boys wanted to be national champs. They wanted to finish higher on the podium, but just seeing how happy they were for me when I was coming off the mat, getting to go look at those pictures and getting to celebrate with them as soon as I came off, those are the reasons that you come to Nebraska, because we truly are a family. Manning, I've never been to a practice that Manning didn't want to be there. Even on the days where we didn't wrestle good at a duel, didn't have a good performance, whatever it was, he wanted to be in the room. He wanted to help us get better. And he dedicates his life to us. And those are the reasons that you should choose to come to the University of Nebraska. You have coaches that'll do absolutely anything for you. Your teammates they're some of the best kids and some of my best friends that I've ever met, ever had, and just seeing the passion that we have for each other should be obvious to everyone and show what we have going on here.
Manning was named the coach of the year for the tournament. Just what does he mean to you as somebody who's been here for so long?
Manning means everything to me. Like I was just talking to Jessica outside, and 2 days after I graduated high school, I was on a plane coming to Nebraska. There was no long kind of like, okay, high school's done, it was pack up your stuff, got my suitcase, and I was out the door, so Manny's been like a dad to me out here, helping me with anything that I needed, anything that I was going through. He was always there for me. And like I was just saying to DP, like every single day in the room, he's committed to helping us get better. He comes in every day with a practice plan, game plan. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to get better. This is where I think we need work. And out of the wrestling room, he wants us to be better people. And I feel that everyone who comes through this program leaves a better wrestler and a better person.
You said, I'll change one of your quotes a little bit, but you said sometimes you got to get kicked in the teeth.
Mm-hmm.
That was mid-January. You guys are national runner-up. You're a national championship champion, 8 All-Americans. Where did you kind of see the team after, in that stretch where they responded to what you said?
Yeah, that was after the UNI duel. And yeah, sometimes you need that wake-up call and to really get ready and bounce back. And one bad performance doesn't define a team, right? Like, this isn't football where if you lose a game, it's like, well, playoffs are probably out of the question. Like, with wrestling, it's not that the whole season doesn't matter, but all that anybody remembers is March. Nobody really remembers the UNI duel. We remember it. My teammates remember it, and like that's stuff that we kind of put in the memory bank to help push us forward to remember like how bad that stung, having to go out there losing on an away in Iowa, you know, and then the Iowa duel, and it's like those little things that you just kind of take a little piece of it and just keep it in the back of your mind and take it into the wrestling room with you every day to really stay committed and stay focused on what the ultimate goal is.
Even with the Iowa duel, that's when Coach Manning said that he knew that you guys could contend for a national champion and have multiple individual national champions. Is that when it kind of sunk in for you too, that not just you would do well, but everybody would have a chance to do well this weekend?
I've believed it for a while now. Even last year, like nationals, like we wrestled okay. We didn't have a great tournament. We had an okay performance, and you know, just even from then on, I really knew last summer though. Last summer, seeing the number of guys that were in the room and the passion and energy that they were bringing during the off season before regular season or preseason had even started. It's off season, people, we can go on vacations, go do camps, go do all that stuff, and the number of people that we had in the room was really good. Manning had Antrell had to kick him out of the room. He was like, dude, like you need to take a break. Like you need to rest up, like rest your body, rest your mind, and you know, there's a reason that he won a national title, and it's because he's committed to this, and the rest of our team is committed. And I knew coming into the season that we were going to have a really good shot. And you know, nationals is a grind, and sometimes it comes out to your draws, like who you're going to have to wrestle and all that build up and everything, and really just being able to keep your mind quiet and focus on the task at hand, take it one match at a time, 1 point at a time, and just not blowing up anything bigger than it is. Like that's another thing is like I've wrestled in 1,000 wrestling tournaments since I was little, and there's a lot more cameras at the last one we just wrestled at, but apart from that, like it's the same. I've wrestled some of those kids when we were younger. I'd wrestled kids at almost all the weights in that tournament. So it's like this, it wasn't anything like new. It's special because of what it is and what it's made out to be, but in reality it was just 5 matches, and really being able to compartmentalize that and take it one match at a time and just keep the team calm, be excited for wins, pick my boys up after they lose, and just keep marching forward.
How do you keep your mind quiet like that? Like you wrestled Henson, you know, the 3 times before that national championship, you know, 1-2 record. That was your 101st victory, and it's a national title. How do you kind of keep your mind at ease going into that?
Just focusing, really trying not to think about the wrestling. You know, like when I was going to sleep that night, the night before the finals, my heart was started speeding up, and I was my eyes were closed. I could like visualize the match and like different things that I was thinking I would want to try to do, different ways I would try to approach the match, and it'd be like, just turn on a YouTube video, like relax, take a couple deep breaths, and really just trying to focus on other things, you know. Like I brought like little toys and games with me. I brought my PlayStation, just keep busy, just try to keep your mind off the wrestling and stuff. But really just hanging out with my teammates, you know, just kicking it, talking, just keeping our minds off wrestling. And then once it's time to lock in and focus on wrestling, we're just making sure that we're dialed, warm-up's good, everything stays the same every day. Don't make anything bigger than it is.
What YouTube video were you watching? What games were you playing on your PlayStation?
Minecraft is good. We were having trouble getting to the Wi-Fi, so I couldn't play any Fortnite or Call of Duty, but played a little bit of Minecraft, and I brought a basketball, so me and Caleb were in the lobby dribbling around and stuff, messing around, just little things like that, just having fun with the boys, kicking it, and getting ready to go kick some butt.
You called this in January,
Mm-hmm.
the conversation, and you said, hey, DP, don't be surprised when this goes really well. And you talked more about your teammates. You said, I'm not finishing second, and neither are we. And you went up and down the roster of who was wrestling well. What did you know that nobody else knew?
I know that the passion that my team's going to bring, I know the effort that they're going to bring, and Coach Manning talks about it all the time, right? Effort, attitude, always. It's on the wall. Those are the 2 things that you can control on the mat, is your effort and your attitude. And if we can keep those trending in good directions, then, it's snowball effect. Winning is contagious, and day 2, we went on a run where it seemed like we couldn't lose. Everything was going right, and, it's just little streaks like that during the tournament that you can keep bouncing off of each other and just keep it rolling, and that's huge. But just being able to control your effort and your attitude, I think, are the 2 biggest things that we as competitors can do, and we did a really good job of that this weekend. But, I see these guys wrestle in the room every single day, and I was saying in one of the interviews at Nationals that the goal every match is to go out and compete the way that you wrestle in practice, and we were fortunate to have that happen for us this weekend, and again, it's just keeping your mind quiet and just focus on the task at hand. Don't let anything get blown out of proportion. And now, we did it. I finally got my team trophy.
Nice jacket, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, and the jackets were sweet. Shout out JB and Rudis. Heck yeah.
Besides you and Antrell, you had 6 other All-Americans. Just can you kind of describe what that tastes like for the younger guys where they were named All-Americans on the podium and just kind of like what the future is like for them?
Yeah, well, definitely celebrate a little bit, be excited and happy about the accomplishments that we've had, but remember, the ultimate goal, we see it every single year at Nationals. We saw it this year, people who get All-American status, make the finals, national champs, who go back the next year and don't place, being committed to the fact that the tournament's not going to get easier, it's going to be tough every single year, and knowing that there's still work to be done, and staying focused and committed to the goals, and stay focused and committed in practice, the off season. Team trophy's awesome, but it's not the color that I wanted, right? We wanted the gold one. We wanted to take first, and knowing that Penn State's going to be back, they're going to be tough, they're going to reload, and just we need to do the same thing and just keep making strides, keep making gains, and just focus on the little things that make us better, and come home with more team trophies, more national champs, more All-Americans, and just try to keep reproducing every single year.
We'll do one last question for Ridge.
Rich, can you speak just, real quick how proud you are of yourself, your team? You didn't get the gold, but to get the silver and all the historic accomplishments, what this weekend meant to you guys?
Yeah, it meant a lot, We put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this season, and finally being able to, this is the first team trophy we've got since I've been here. We took second in Big Tens my freshman year. We were gunned up to have a good nationals that year too, but it got canceled because of COVID. But being able to build the culture and the team that we have, and being able to see it pay off, having Coach Manning win coach of the tournament, those are things that I'm going to remember forever, and just being able to go out there and fight with my guys, and just how proud of how they handled the tournament. Everyone went in there, they acted like professionals, we acted like we'd been there before, and, just got hot right at the right time and went on our little runs in the tournament, and those are the things that I hope that the younger guys will take with them next year, and that I'm for sure going to keep with me, whether I'm still competing, whether I'm coaching, whatever we're doing. Just remembering these experiences, these emotions, and the things that we did to get here, be grateful for them, be grateful for the people that God put around us and the team that he put me with, and yeah, really just carry that stuff with me forever. Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, what have the last few days been like for you as you've navigated a world of
It's honestly been crazy because it just feels like a dream. I just wake up. This morning I woke up and pinched myself. I was like, man, I don't know if this feels real. I just keep seeing different posts of me every hour. It's honestly crazy. Crazy that I'm in the position that I am, and I'm just very grateful.
as the last few seconds of that third period were ticking down. What was going through your mind there as you were trying to stay in position to win the thing?
Yeah, I was just like I was the entire match. Just stay focused. Don't let it pass my head and hands defense, and just I'm gonna be a national champion if I don't let this dude touch my legs. And so yeah, it's just awesome. And then when that clock hit 0, I was just like, man, I did it. Finally accomplished my dream, and I can't wait to do it again next year.
What was the immediate moment afterwards, like the backflip, celebrating with your family, with Coach Manning? What did that moment mean to you?
It meant everything. Just I walked past the camera just because I just want to give my mom a hug, because I just love my family, and I just know how much we've been through and how much this national title means to not just me but my whole entire family, and like I was saying, I'm just grateful for it.
From this day forward, you got that thing behind your name. It's Antrell Taylor, national champion.
Yeah. Hey, it's a nice ring to it. Nice ring to it.
Right? Have you practiced your new signature? You're gonna
Nah, not yet. I will though. Real soon, I'm gonna be doing that. But I haven't got a new signature yet. But I'm gonna add that natty title to the signature a little bit for sure.
When Coach Manning sits here in the post conference and you're not in the room, but he speaks his words and he says Antrell Taylor's going to be a national champion someday. How do you kind of respond? Is there added extra pressure there where your coach believes and you can go all the way?
I would say no. It's no added pressure just because he sees how much I work at my craft, how much I'm perfecting my craft each and every day, and he just has that belief, and he just knows that I'm gonna go out there and perform, and I trust in God, and I do all the right things, and so yeah, he just has that strong faith in me that I'll perform at the best of my abilities whenever I'm out there.
And what does that faith mean? Because he talked about he's not only a coach. Every kid he coaches is like it's how he wants his son to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you?
That means a lot because nowadays a lot of coaches aren't like that. A lot of coaches are in it for the money, but Manning he's in it for every aspect of your life, like through the good, the bad. When my brother's funeral, he sat front row with me, right next to me. So it just speaks a lot, like it shows a lot how much he cares about me and each and everybody else on the team.
The first Nebraskan to win a national championship for Nebraska since 2000.
I wasn't even alive.
What does that mean to you that you not only get the chance to represent a program in your home state, but to win a national championship for that program?
It means a lot. I've been seeing a lot of comments. People are like, neighborhood hero, he's hometown hero. It just means a lot. Like I dreamed of this, and just for it to play out how it did, it's honestly just crazy. It just feels like I'm in a movie. Like I said, it's awesome that I can bring this title back to Nebraska, the home state that I'm from. So, and I love all the fans to death, and I know they're behind me through each and every match, for sure.
Antrell, talk a little bit about, just your journey here at Nebraska, redshirting obviously for a season and just learning. And then last year, getting to that 8th place finish, do you feel like, like in workouts or just in the preparation that your skills were building up to this moment?
Definitely. I felt like since last year, since I was got in the lineup at 165, I just felt like my wrestling was just trending in the right direction. Win or lose, I just felt like I'm just right there. I'm right there. And then, boom, it just clicked. And I started to wrestle lights out at the right time, and it couldn't have been a better time for me to do that. So, yeah, for sure I trusted in my skills.
There was a moment after the match where you and Jordan Burrow are face to face. And if I've ever seen a moment of pride and joy, right?
Man.
Please talk to me about that moment, because that seemed to be everything that this thing is all about.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. He hit me on my chest and was like, that's all heart. And I was like, dang, I did it. This is the best wrestler in the world. Hit me on my chest and telling me that it's all heart, and I did it. and just put into perspective like the caliber of what this is. Like it's crazy, man. It's really crazy.
As a sophomore, how does it feel knowing that you have 2 more cracks to win 2 more of those?
I love it. This is more opportunity to get better and just build on the legacy I'm trying to create for my people.
One of the other very proud people of you in the arena is Peyton Robb.
Mm-hmm.
What has he meant to your career, and how has he made you better?
Since I stepped foot on the mat at Nebraska, he's honestly helped me so much through everything. I trained with him every single day. It's when he was on the team, and he just a tremendous support, and I could see the passion in his eyes when he gave me that hug. I was like, man, we did it. He was like, you did it. I was like, man, you played a big part in this. And yeah, I just love him to death. I love him to death, man. I really do.
Can you describe kind of the practice room? Obviously, you guys were, a few points away from having 3 national champions. You were a few points away from having 4 finalists.
Mm-hmm.
You guys had 8 All-Americans. What does that taste kind of like making the national tournament, and kind of what it does for the program going forward?
I think what we did, just making history the way we did it, I think it's honestly paving a new way for Nebraska wrestling, and it put us on the map, and it just showed that we're here to stay, and we're only going to get better, I feel like. And it's just awesome that we can be put in that position, and I'm honestly grateful, and I'm proud of all my guys. We worked so hard for this summer, spring. We work all year throughout it, through this wrestling stuff, and it's just amazing that we did what we did.
I need to get you on this thing that you've said several times. You wouldn't want to do this anywhere else.
Nah.
It's only Nebraska.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Because the culture, man, like, we didn't have to buy nobody. It's just a whole bunch of hard work, grit, and fight, and it showed. Like, we fought in every single position. Like, we had guys lose first, second round, and they fought all the way back, All-American. Like, not too many people can do that, and just for us to have 8 of them, it's just insane to me. Like, it's just honestly crazy.
How many times did you sneak into the practice room? Because I know you had been kicked out a couple times.
Yeah.
But, just that work that work nobody sees. To be told you need to leave. What are those moments like where it's just you against yourself, and kind of what it did for you?
I think when I'm training by myself, that's when my mind's the most clear, and I feel like I get the most out of it, and just I can really think through every little scenario. Think like if I remember after the Casey match when he beat me 9-3 here, I came into the room that following night, and I was working through each and every position that he beat me in, and I worked on that for I don't know how long until I couldn't no more. That just shows my passion for this sport, and I'll do anything to be great.
Rich talked about bringing his trophy to the training table and just kind of all the love you guys have seen back here in Lincoln. But just what's been the past 24 hours since you stepped foot back here, and just, how cool is it to see, other Husker athletes and other programs showing love to you guys?
It's honestly amazing. I've had people from different sports in our program just telling me congrats, and I honestly love it, and it's really cool that each and every sport has a type of support system for you. So it's cool to see, for sure.
Okay, we'll do one last question here.
Hey, can you speak on the brotherhood? Because obviously wrestling, you got to have a tight group of guys, and the season you've had has been incredible. But can you talk about that from start to finish, how you guys have stayed together?
Yeah, I think the hard work molds us together. Just seeing each other in the mornings, like some mornings we don't want to, it's not every day we want to work, and we pick each other up. When I see Caleb, he's a little down, he's cutting weight, he's tired. I'm like, man, come on, we got a national title to win, got a Big Ten title to win, and he picks me up the same way, and I just think that thing right there, it just molds us together, that hard work, and yeah, I just love it, man. I love my guys, man. I love them. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
Good. Thank y'all.